I want to start by wishing happy birthday to somebody I really respect and admire.
Okay.
His Grace Archbishop Gabriel Charles Angela Ni Obo Bisa Palmer Buckle. He's 70 years old today.
Happy birthday. He's called Angela?
He's Gabriel Charles Angela Ni Obo Bisa Palmer Buckle.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a big man. He's the
He
Metropolitan Archbishop of Cape Coast.
He certainly is.
No, he's correct. He's
certainly
powerful.
is,
He's
yeah.
everything. This is powerful. Big man.
Happy birthday from all
He's
of us.
contributed to humanity over the 70 years he's existed.
Too much.
And we ask God to give him more years.
Too much.
Because we need more wisdom.
Too much.
And we need more of his kind of humanity.
Too much.
To shape and mold the future.
Too much.
Because
He's an unusual cleric.
Yeah.
I will tell you some of his history soon. Maybe later join the show.
Okay.
He's Charlie from Bruce.
I said the name, no. Mention the name again.
Gabriel, Charles, Angela, Ni Obo Bisa. Palmer Buckle.
That one.
Yeah.
Ni Obo Bisa.
Yeah.
Palmer Buckle.
I've released everything.
Yes.
Kweku Dakwankra. Do your job.
Yeah, if you go and locate his,
Do your thing.
his history.
Kweku Dakwankra, do your thing.
In the meantime, wearing masks is encouraged and also mandatory.
Yes.
Where we've got into with COVID-19, we can't play anymore.
Yep.
2 things I learned this weekend. If you're a journalist and you get a story, if it's a good story and it's true, stick with it. Don't let people's insults affect you.
Amen.
Because truth will always be vindicated.
Amen.
And on that note, I want to say good morning to Umaru Sanda Amadu.
Good morning.
Umaru and your family. I want to greet you.
Bilkis.
May the Lord bless you and
Make him
protect
some
you.
thick cocoa this morning.
With echo.
No, with Hintia.
That's what you call echo.
Okay.
Yeah, inside. He's a big man.
A bro cocoa.
Yes.
Put some wagashi on the side.
I tell you,
Protein.
if you have
Plenty margarine.
if you know the
bread.
truth, the truth will always vindicate you. Let's start with the graphic.
No, before we start with the graphic, Charlie, upside down.
Oh man, Obia on the master. But you know, to me, the part of the show I like the most. They've given him 2 minutes to write the names of his children.
Yes,
Now, clock me Tiki. And say Amanda, Gifty, Clarissa,
Abigail,
Kendra.
Kisha, Coley, hey!
22.
Charlie.
He's a big man.
Kennedy, you're a big man.
Charlie, but that was an exciting show yesterday. Big ups to the TV production team. Every Sunday
at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
In fact, Sunday nights are lit on Citi TV.
Yeah.
That's the new place to go. Let's
All right.
start with the graphic
Front
now.
page of the Daily Graphic. President assures nation of enhanced protocols. Safety measures in place to protect students. Wearing of mask now mandatory. Police to enforce directive. Active COVID-19 cases now 7,652. And the president was wearing his go back to school shirt. ABC. Reopening of schools today. Government deploys health personnel to institutions.
Now, the Ghanaian Times COVID-19 update. Tertiary institutions reopen today as government airlifts distributes PPE to schools nationwide. Varsities of education, Cape Coast, to undergo fumigation and disinfection by Zoom Lion. NLA, GRA partner to conduct VAT raffle to enhance government revenue mobilization. And former President Mahama urges the government to withdraw the public universities bill. Government disagrees.
I take you to the front page of the Herald newspaper. Health Minister, wife and son hospitalized over coronavirus as disease kills Secondary Takra Mayor is on the front page of the paper. Government struggling in court over Unibank liquidation. Freight forwarders threatening to drive away Unipass.
Now, the finder, closure of 53 fund management firms, 90,000 claims hit 12.56 billion Ghana cedis. Over 50% of claims validated. Modalities for payment out in the coming weeks. Reverend Ogbametete speaking. Government gives NCCE 50 vehicles.
Wow.
And 2.5 million Ghana cedis for public education on COVID-19.
You know the CEO is 50.
Yes, on Friday.
So they give him 50 vehicles.
One for every
50
year.
for 50.
Powerful.
Now, more stories from the finder. Government distributes PPE to schools ahead of reopening today. And government imports 520 multi-purpose mini tractors for peasant farmers.
Front page of the New Crusading Guide. Judgment debt looms for MMDAs as Clean Ghana project contractors drag them into dirty deals with foreign investors. KNUST, KTU, others disinfected.
Now, the Chronicle, Ivorian experience won't happen in Ghana. Jean Mensah assures TUC Ghanaians. Akufo-Addo's achievements will secure him a second term. I'll repeal public universities law in 2021, Mahama, and businessman hauls Rawlings to court over rich property.
Front page of the Daily Statesman newspaper. Our survival still in our own hands. President urges greater discipline after easing of COVID-19 restrictions. NPP wants to deny foreigners the right to vote. Nketia intensifies campaign against EC. Equiapim South parliamentary aspirants wages war against Akufo-Addo's government. Interesting story on the front page of the Daily Statesman.
Now, the Ghanaian Observer. Current voters register can be manipulated. EC chairperson answers critics. I'll develop the salt industry. Akufo-Addo. War on COVID-19. KNUST, Kumasi Technical University, others disinfected. And government distributes PPE to varsities as tertiary schools reopen.
Front page of the BNFT. Customs officials at Elubo deny challenges with ICUMS or ICUMS. SEC in talks with Finance Ministry to secure comprehensive solution. And this is with this concerns the payment of defunct investment banks clients. Government procures 520 specialized rice tractors to boost production. And BOG must sanction banks for poor customer service, according to Dr. Richmond Etuahene.
Now, the Go Street business. TUC proposes compensation insurance scheme for workers to safeguard salary of workers in times of national crisis. ICUMS trade platform controversy turns political. Officials claim political motivation behind latest false allegations. And there's a very troubling story on the front page of the Go Street business. You know the benchmark value thing that happened? It's causing people to import more oil palm into the country because importing is cheaper than buying from local producers.
Wow.
And they say that local oil palm losing market share and the industry is on the verge of collapse because of that 50% benchmark valuation cut.
Okay. Let me give you stories online that you haven't read yet. So on citynewsroom.com, apart from all the stories you've read, a couple of stories here. I have paid over 9.6 million Ghana cedis to Men's Gold customers. This is number one. Also, COVID-19 numbers do not support partial reopening of schools. Professor Kweku Azar. Hot FM reporters who interviewed Prophet Kwabena Owusu to face CID today. If you are listening from the Upper West region, there's good news for you. 78 road projects in Upper West, earmarked for construction according to a road minister. Now let's go to citybusinessnews.com. A few stories. Greenleaf Vegetable Estate wins season 1 of Living Fields Agri Challenge. And then SEC upholds revocation of Gold Coast Fund Management license, restores some, suspends others. And of course, the latest COVID-19 numbers. If you go to myjoyonline.com, our universities need partnership and not a bill. This is Mahama. And as we read, wearing of face mask, mandatory offenders will be sanctioned. And then if you go to Star News, the story, the GIS intercepts 141 gallons of fuel being smuggled into Togo. This is from the Volta region. And then there's a lot of COVID-19 stories. For example, I don't have COVID-19. Health Minister's wife also says Nigeria's COVID-19 case count surpasses 16,000 as Gombe state tops daily infections. If you go to Europe, there's a lot of lockdown reopening. So, for example, how is lockdown being lifted across Europe is what BBC leads with. France lifts curbs for summer unlike any other. Meanwhile, nearly 1 in 3 test positive in Delhi as cases surge. China is also looking to do more, lockdowns because of
Beijing.
COVID-19. So Beijing lockdown spreads in race to control outbreak. This is from the South China Morning Post. So it looks like COVID is not going anywhere anytime soon. US is focusing on Trump. They are saying his showmanship is backfiring on him. So let's start with the latest COVID-19 numbers and then get into other stories.
All right.
Quickly.
We are at 11,964.
Yes.
Those are the numbers given by the president yesterday.
4,156 recoveries.
4,258 is what I have.
Recoveries, okay.
Recoveries and 54 deaths.
54 deaths, fantastic. Yes. Then if you go on to some other angles, Akufo-Addo wishes health minister speedy recovery after COVID-19 infections. Citynewsroom.com. The president has wished Ghana's Minister for Health, Kweku Agyeman-Menu, a speedy recovery from COVID-19. Now, here's a quote. Let us wish our hardworking Minister for Health, Kweku Agyeman-Menu, for Doma Central, a speedy recovery from the virus, which he contracted in the line of duty and is in a stable condition, the president urged. He made the remarks yesterday during his 11th address to the nation on government's fight against coronavirus pandemic. Now, the minister is currently receiving treatment at the University of Ghana Medical Center after he got infected with COVID-19. Now, let me give you other stories in relation to this particular one.
Okay.
So, the President also
Schools reopening?
confirms. No, hold on.
Okay.
Takrady Mayor died from COVID-19. President confirms this as well. The mayor of Sekeni Takrady, KK Sam, died of COVID-19. This was confirmed by the president yesterday in his address. He died on Friday, June 12, 2020, while receiving treatment at the University of Ghana Medical Center, where he was rushed after falling sick. Then, if you go to Star News, I don't have COVID-19. Health Minister's wife, because a couple of stories that say that he, his wife, and his son have COVID-19. Susie Ajimamenu, wife of Ghana's Minister for Health, has denied reports that she has contracted COVID-19. She told Star FM that none of her children has also contracted the virus. It comes after media reports that the Health Minister, Kuku Ajimamenu, his wife, and his son have contracted the virus. The reports noted that they are on admission at the University of Ghana Medical Center. Then they give the background of the minister's issue.
Okay, now let me tell you what the president said yesterday, and he has assured the nation of enhanced protocols, and that story is carried by the Daily Graphic. If you go to page 3, it says that the president has reminded residents of the Greater Accra and the Ashanti regions where the great majority of cases had been recorded, and in the western and central regions where there was an increase in infection cases, to continue to adhere strictly to the physical distancing and enhanced hygiene protocols. The story also says the president said the increase in the number of case counts, which had given cause for anxiety among Ghanaians, was also an indication that the virus had spread and continued to do so. He said once the country had adopted the enhanced surveillance approach, which tested more people, the more people were tested, the more likely it was to discover positive cases. But that came with the opportunity to isolate and treat them. And then he also spoke about protocols for schools. He emphasized that Ghana could not just give up interest in issues of social justice such as education and health, stressing that education was the key to the future of the country. So he went on to outline what was going to happen in pre-tertiary schools and also in tertiary institutions.
There's a couple of stories here that suggest that the reopening may not be the best for Ghana. I'm giving you a quick one. Kweku Azan has been interviewed and he says the COVID-19 numbers we have in Ghana don't support a partial reopening. This story is on citinewsroom.com. Lecturer and professor of accounting Stephen Kweku Asari is calling on government to reconsider his decision to partially reopen schools starting today. University of Ghana will reopen Monday, June 15 for the final year students prepare for their examinations. According to Mr. Kweku Azar on a Facebook post, the COVID-19 numbers we have do not support this idea. He's asking government to reconsider the decision to reopen. Kojo?
Yes, now let's go to the schools reopening and what some of the schools are going to do. Tertiary institutions reopen today. This is the center spread of the Ghanaian Times. Now, Jonathan Donker writes that final year students of tertiary institutions are expected back in school today to complete their semester work and exit examination after staying home for weeks as part of measures to curb the spread of COVID-19. This is in compliance with President Akufo-Addo's directive in his last televised address to the nation. Now, as part of the safety measures, the government through the military on Saturday deployed quantities of PPE in readiness of their return. The items include 600,000 face masks, 1,700 vertical buckets, 200,000 units of hand sanitizers, 3,400 liquid soap, and it goes on and on and on and on. Now, the Minister of Information, Kojo Oppong-Kuma, told journalists before the deployment that the government had the safety of students at heart and had therefore put these measures in place to safeguard them. Now, various tertiary institutions have over the last few days put in place their own measures. Now, Dr. Daniel Norris Bekoin, University Relations Officer of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, said one student would be assigned to one room. All students will be provided with face masks and expected to wear them before allowed entry into any facility. And according to him, there would also be mandatory screening of all students upon arrival to the school, while hand hygiene materials, including buckets and sanitizer dispensers, will be placed at vantage points. And he says that out of the final student population of 13,000, he said only about 1,500 were expected in school, including those offering human-centered programs such as medicine. Now, from the central region, David O. Yaboy Tete reports that the authorities of the UCC have established a COVID-19 response task force in collaboration with the Metropolitan Health Directorate.
There was a story in pharmaceuticals I thought you wanted to bring to me quickly.
Yes, that story is on page 33.
Then we'll go to the port.
Yes, page 33 of the Daily Graphic. Pharmaceutical companies threaten to withdraw supplies, complain of non-payment for medicines. The Chamber of Pharmacy Ghana and the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association of Ghana have threatened to withdraw supplies to the regional medical stores and the health facilities funded by the NHIE if they fail to honor their indebtedness to members of the two bodies. According to the two groups, the public health facilities owed their members 12 months of pharmaceutical supplies. They have therefore entreated the Ministry of Health to, as a matter of urgency, ensure all the money owed the pharmaceutical companies is paid with immediate effect. Now, if you recall, last week they were also in the news because they are saying they're having issues clearing medicines at the ports.
Let's go to the ports.
Now, Thomas Imi here writes for the Go Street Business that the ICOM's trade platform controversy turns political. And he writes that the fierce controversy over the efficiency of the newly introduced integrated customs management system took a turn for the worse last week as the political class waded into the issue. Up to now, the arguments for and against the replacement of the trade facilitation platform deployed by GCNet and West Blue with a new one operated by the Ghana Link in collaboration with their partners from South Korea have been based on a combination of technical and financial considerations presented by stakeholders. However, last week, seemingly political-driven arguments were introduced when Isaac Adongo, a minority member of Parliament's Trade and Finance Committee, in a media interaction, referred to a video produced on April 28 to fault the defects of the new system as currently operated. And it goes on to talk about the
I want you to give me
reactions
the effect of the port on the palm oil thing. That's what I thought.
That story. Okay, let me give you that story right now. And it's on the front page of the Go Street Business. The story says that stakeholders in Ghana's oil palm industry say the sector is on the verge of collapse as cheap imports continue to take over the local market. And unless government acts quickly, the sector would go completely under. The Oil Palm Development Association of Ghana, the mouthpiece of the sector, assessed that the 50% cut in benchmark valuations on imports introduced by the government in April 2019 has left the industry in a bad place.
Okay.
According to them, the benchmark valuation policy has made imports cheaper than the locally produced products from the sector.
Okay.
And prior to the introduction of the benchmark value, a 25-liter or the yellow gallon of oil produced locally was sold at 145 Ghana cedis against 150 for the imported one. Now, the introduction of the policy has, however, decreased the price of the imported ones to between 75 and 120 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
And this means that the local ones are
Now,
not selling.
I wanted your comment, Godfrey, the story on the investors bill. Then there's a story on SEC on the find I want to do. There's a story on the citynewsroom.com. If investors bill is passed, I'll repeal when I become president. This is Mahama speaking.
There's
over
another
the
one
weekend.
on in the Herald where Professor Poku Nano Pokwajman says universities are not glorified senior high schools.
So there's a lot of opposition to this,
Yes.
but flag bearer of NDC, John Mahama, says if the public investment bill is approved, he will repeal it if he wins the 2020 elections. Kojo, now SEC is also in the news.
Yes, they say that 90,000 claims have hit 12.5 billion Ghana cedis. And Office Dako is writing that claims filed by investors affected by the closure of investment firms have amounted to 12.56 billion Ghana cedis. This is about 4.5 billion Ghana cedis higher than the 8.08 billion Ghana cedis worth of assets under management the firms had reported to the SEC at the time of the revocation of licenses. Out of the 8.08 billion Ghana cedis worth of assets under management declared by the collapsed firms, 5 billion cedis are estimated to be at risk, while the remaining 3 billion are considered as safe.
Well, the SEC
Now-
has also said that following the initial validation they've done, the figure has reduced from about 12 billion to about 10. So a lot of the claims are still being worked on. There are
Yes.
two stories yesterday on SEC. They have upheld the revocation of Gold Coast Fund Management's license and restored some. Yes. So the SEC has sustained the revocation of the license of the Black Shield Capital Management, formerly Gold Coast Management Limited, following the completion of work by the Commission's Administrative Hearing Committee. A circular published on the website of SEC said 4 other companies have had their revocation sustained after they appeared before the hearings. This is Crown Capital Limited, Kripa Capital, Frontline Capital, and Intermarket Asset Management, formerly known as CDH. Meanwhile, they have restored the license of Monarch Capital Ghana Limited. The license of 2 other companies, Integrity Fund Management and Legacy Fund Management, have been commuted to suspension for 6 months.
Okay, well, the SEC is also on the front page of the BNFT. They're everywhere today, Bernard. And they are saying that they are in charge of the finance ministry to secure a comprehensive solution. And they also say that acknowledgement of validation is not validation. If you go to page 3 of the newspaper. Now, they're also seeking more powers to police investment banking. So if you
And then finally, on that area,
If you
I've
can
paid
get
9.6 million cedis to Men's Gold customers. This is number 1. Chief Executive of Gold Dealership Company Men's Gold, Nana Apia Mensah, popularly called as number 1, has dispelled claims that he has neglected persons he owes to sign a new artist onto his Xylophone music record label. In an open letter, Naman said Men's Gold and Xylophone are 2 different entities, and they are comparing the two is an incredible display of intellectual deficiency or bankruptcy. Now, he's basically saying that he has paid over 9.6 million cedis to people who he owes. And then there's been stories around him. Now, let me give you 2 quick stories. Upper West region, 78 projects or road projects in Upper West earmarked for construction. This is the minister. As part of measures to improve the deployable nature of roads in Upper West region, the government has awarded a total of 78 road construction projects in the area. Kwesi Amakwata, Minister for Roads and Highways, disclosed this at a media briefing in Wa when he was referring to concerns about the bad nature of roads in the region.
Now, on that same tangent, the back page of the Daily Graphic has him in Bolga, where he's inspecting the Bolgatanga Pumakom Road, where work is progressing steadily according to the report. So far, 40 kilometers of the 109-kilometer stretch has been completed.
Now, there's good news for the agric sector. The government has imported 520 multi-purpose mini tractors for peasant farmers. Now, the story says the government flagship agric program, Planting for Food and Jobs, is set for a further boost with the delivery of 520 multi-purpose mini tractors for peasant farmers. The tractors will be made available to farmers at a subsidy between 40 and 60%, but only for those who belong to farmer groups. Now, the benefits of the tractors, which cost between 15,000 and 18,000 Ghana cedis, is set to surpass the cost of acquiring the equipment few months after purchase.
Now, I really want to make a comment on this. If you go to Facebook, somebody called John Kwejo Stevens wrote a post essentially insulting journalists. He says, Ghanaians believe in fake news too much. He says, I was laughing when news broke out that the Minister for Health, Kweku Ajimamenu, was admission at the University of Ghana Center for being infected with COVID-19. Indeed, I was amazed when the news suddenly went viral because I was with the minister for the whole of last week. I was inside his family house with his wife and children who are doing well. So we're from the unfortunate story. Then he says, frankly speaking, Ghanaian journalists are lazy. They just pick news from social media and just rebroadcast, and others as lazy as they also spread the news on their various media platforms.
Thank you.
Are we serious as a country? Honestly, Ghanaian journalists and the entire citizens in this country believe fake news too much. So now the president is wishing the minister good health recovery.
What's his name?
John Kwejo Stevens.
Okay, we wish him well too.
He wrote it and then went to sleep.
Good morning, John Kojo Stevens.
God have mercy upon us as a country.
Time has soon.
This is what we call militant ignorance. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.